I have shared in previous videos how a Minc machine can be used to melt cling wrap to easily attach napkins to cardstock, and how it can also melt embossing powder for a fun grungy look. I recently watched a video where crayons were melted with an iron to create cool backgrounds, and I wondered if the Minc could melt crayons too. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Card on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik, and the answer to that question is yes. It is so easy to create a fun mixed media looking background, as I will show you in this video. I love my Minc because it heats faster than a traditional laminator and maintains its heat more evenly and gets hot enough to melt cling wrap, which a traditional laminator did not. Now I have links in my description to several previous videos where I showed those techniques. But I know now, of course, that we can melt crayons in here. I did not try this crayon melting technique in a laminator, but if that's what you have, give it a try. I protected my Minc from all the crayon shavings with a parchment paper sleeves, and would suggest that in a laminator too. So I made sleeves out of parchment paper, and will protect the Minc as I will show you. I tried the technique on a typical setting for foiling on my Minc, which is 3. But that melted the crayons just a bit too much for my taste. It depends on the look you're looking for. This was on a 3, and it kind of ended up with more blobs than I would like. So when I use it on 2, this is more of the look I get. So it does melt it, but it makes smaller blobs. And on this one too, I added some embossing powder, and I'm going to show you that as well. This sample does show a lesson that I learned too that I can share with you. Be sure to clean off your grater thoroughly in between changing colors from background to background if you don't want extra color showing up. Now on this one I wanted red and blue and gold, but I have a lot of green in there from the previous card. So I thought I had cleaned it off enough, and then when I went to put it through the Minc, I ended up with the green. Now I like that, but I'll show you the card that I was trying to make where I only wanted red and blue and gold. Regular crayons do work fine, even from the dollar store. So use what you have. In the video I mentioned previously, there's a link in the description box. She used some gold and silver metallic crayons, and I liked the look so much that I ordered these Crayola metallic FX crayons off of Amazon, and I have a link in the description box to where I found those. I ended up liking using basically only the metallic, but again, it's, you know, use what you have. I had so much fun making these easy no iron crayon backgrounds that I made a bunch of cards to share with you. All the details on these cards will be on my blog, and of course links will be in my description box. So this mixed media crayon melted background is perfect for masculine cards, as I made here. And then it says, "Here's to you," with beer keg there for a guy, brewing up a birthday wish just for you, with a bottle of, or a glass of beer. They're also perfect for kids cards. And this background actually was made with regular green and blue, I'm sorry, yellow and blue, and some green too, crayons. So they weren't the metallic, but then I added in the silver metallic to make that cool background. And this one would be perfect for a child or a guy or whatever. You can also die cut your background. So I die cut a real pretty cover background die here out of a piece that I created with blues and greens metallic, and ended up with a real pretty card that way. You can also put your backgrounds through an embossing folder. So after I created this one, I embossed it with an embossing folder, and then I added some rub-on metallic wax type things that to add a little color to that background. So another tip that I can give you is when you have a real busy background like this is, if you want to put a sentiment die on, like this one from Tonic, if you put it on a strip of vellum, then it stands out from the background. I'm making 100 or so cards for my twin brother's honor flight when he goes, and so I used the red and the blue and the gold metallic crayons to make this background, along with some embossing powder. So this is the card that I'm going to be demoing in this video. I used a Colorful Life Designs Zentangle Dots stencil, and I used these fun mixed font sentiment dies from Bright Rosa by Paula Pasquale. The birthday on this one didn't stand out as much as I would like when I kept it the same as with the crayon background, so I ended up cutting it again out of a aqua blue and attaching it. I'm going to be changing to a black card base, so I'm thinking that this time it will stand out enough, but we'll see once we work on it. So we have the Minc on 2. And I have the card base that I have cut already with the birthday, and it is in a piece of parchment envelope or carrier there. And then I'm also going to just put it on a piece of scratch paper to try to keep some of the crayon shavings on that. This is a dollar store grater, and so it cost me $1, obviously, and obviously will be only used for non-kitchen type grating. I thought this one was a good choice because I wasn't sure if I wanted the smaller or the larger or even this for grating, but I do generally use the smaller side. Get this set up here. I have a peach and a turquoise metallic crayon here, and I found that I can do them at the same time. So we're just laying this grater over the white paper and then grading both colors. So you can see we've started getting some of those color pieces onto the card. And then what I found was there's plenty of those colors left in there right now. So I take this old vegetable scrubber, which is again only for crafts, and I go over this, and that gets those extra pieces out. And then I take a brush and I just kind of move these around a little bit. There's plenty here to add color, although you can always add more if you want. You can just move them around. And then I like to add embossing powder. That's just an extra little step that I will add some turquoise and copper embossing powder. It's totally optional, of course, but it just adds a little glitter to the background and also melts with the Minc. And of course you can choose traditional, but I've chosen some glittery embossing powder. And this one is a copper. Let's see if I can. So I am going to put that in the parchment paper. Put the folded side through. In the meantime, I'm going to clean this mess up a little bit. And we'll see how it looks. Of course, every single time it's going to turn out different. And we have a mixed media, fun, blotchy background that we've created with both crayons and embossing powder. I am going to stencil a little bit of some Zentangle type dots onto the background as well. To give it an even more mixed media look. I'm using some peach ink from My Favorite Things and my favorite blender brushes from Tailored Expressions. And this stencil is from A Colorful Life Designs. A little bit of my favorite purple tape to hold it down. Now this one is a little more splotchy than the other ones, I guess. So I don't know that I want this all over the place. I think I might just add some in certain areas, and we'll see. The other one I did all over. Hold on. Let's take a look and see if we like it. I use the top tape as a hinge, and so I can lift it up and see if I like it. And I think I do. I think it's a little more subtle in the stenciling than the other one, but this one had more color from the crayons. So I think we'll go with that. And now we're going to die cut the shadow for the happy from that bright Rosa set out of this background that we've created. And we're going to kind of do an eclipse look with this die. I am going to use my mini Gemini off camera while I do that and pull in the rest of the pieces. I think it's fun when you raise up a word and but have the background be the same as the background on the card. I love that look, so we're going to do that on this. And I think because I did use the black background, that birthday is much easier to read than it was on the peach background, so I don't think I need to cut another birthday for that. This is Fun Foam, and it has sticky paper on the back. So I am going to remove that sticky paper. I find this at Hobby Lobby. And it saves a step, which is nice. And I don't cut like 6 layers of something to raise it up. I just use either black or white Fun Foam to do that. And now we're going to glue, and you can see that I made a slight mistake before and had this glued down already to the Fun Foam, and I'm like, no, we don't want to do that, but I was able to take it up. But that's what all those marks are on the back here. And then we're going to put the scripty, of course, making sure you have this right here. Scripty happy. I didn't. I screwed it up, didn't I? I think that's because the H and the P look so similar. I think that no, that is right. Good. I thought the Fun Foam was maybe put in and I cut my piece out the wrong way, but I think we're good. That's right. Okay. And I think we're going to attach it to this with some more Gina K. Nope, that's not working. We'll use glue, no problem. So the happy is raised on the Fun Foam. The background continues from this area through the word. So we have an eclipse look there, and then the birthday was cut out, and both of those dies are from that bright Rosa set. Because I'm using black, you can read that a little bit better, so I'm real happy with how this card turned out. It's kind of a fun mixed media look, and very unique with those metallic crayons. I had so much fun creating easy mixed media backgrounds with melted crayons, and I hope you'll give this a try. Thanks for watching, sharing, and subscribing, and thanks too for helping me share the joy of creativity.